Hi guys, how are you all? This is FJ What If. Today we are going to discuss about what if Naruto was king of Shaman and had Spirit of Fire Part 10. Before start the episode, please like and subscribe my channel. Chapter 10. A girl that can see spirits. Naruto was getting worried when he entered the cemetery's boundaries and was bombarded by a spiritual pressure coming from a very powerful source. He heard a rumor from a passing merchant that there was a demon residing in the place. Many ignored this as superstition, but Naruto did not. Being a shaman, he knew that demons exists, or in this case, an oni. His suspicions were confirmed when a traveling merchant described the spirit, a giant monstrosity with red skin and horns on its bald head. After hearing that, Naruto thanked the merchant before making his way to the cemetery. If the description was correct, then there was a powerful oni in bird country. "Are you sure we should be here, Shaman-sama?" asked Nawaki in a scared voice. Dan didn't say anything but kept his eyes peeled for any threats since he could feel the spiritual pressure around them. He might be dead, but his shinobi training was still present despite not having a physical body to do any damage. "We shouldn't, but to ensure that nothing happens to the townsfolk, I have to investigate and make sure that this threat is gone before it could harm anyone it shouldn't," said Naruto, his face locked in a grim frown. "What do you think it is?" asked Dan. "According to the merchant's tale, the demon that resides in this cemetery is an oni," answered Naruto, but continued with an explanation when he saw the confused looks on the spirits' faces. An oni is a powerful spiritual being created by a shaman with no control of their powers. "You saw me meditate earlier in the hotel, right?" He got a nod from the two. "The reason I did that was to make sure that my power is kept in check. You see, an oni is created when 1080 worries, hopes, and prayers materialize into a physical form from an untrained shaman. However, the one I'm hunting is no ordinary demon. An oni is an oni's evolved form when it eats souls that are attracted by its negative energies. So you need to get rid of this oni to save the town?" asked Dan after reviewing the information. "Yes." Naruto nodded. "However, what worries me is the creation of an oni. Only a human with shamanic abilities can create one. After all, it is a manifestation of 1080 hopes, prayers, and worries absorbed by a single person and given form. If an oni is here, then there should be an untrained shaman nearby keeping it sustained. Are you hoping to recruit this person into your family?" asked Nawaki, knowing that the shaman of Konoha was looking for people like him, one of the reasons of his current trek across the elemental nations. "I hope to do so if I'm not too late." "What do you mean too late?" "An oni usually devours the human who creates it. However, an oni is very intelligent and will often use a shaman to draw in negative energies as a power source, or even treating them like a parent zealously. It could never evolve more than an oni, but it would have enough spiritual energy to make its attacks powerful if given the chance," said Naruto before he felt a large amount of furyoku aimed at him. He slammed the butt of his staff on the ground and channeled his energy into it. A dome of solidified spirit energy appeared over the trio's heads as black tendrils slammed onto it but dissipated when made contact with the glowing barrier. Naruto removed the protection when the attack ceased. "Definitely an oni, judging from the strength of that attack." "You are correct, Gaki," said a voice from the mist-covered part near the center of the cemetery. Naruto narrowed his eyes at hearing the voice before using a bit of his furyoku to get rid of the mist. The covering dissipated to reveal an oni. However, what caught Naruto's interest was the 8-year-old girl with long black hair and wearing a tattered blue kimono on the beast's shoulder. What was more interesting was the amount of furyoku the girl was releasing. He was inwardly giddy at finding another shaman, and a powerful one at that. Such potential for one so young. "Now that explains it." Naruto smirked as he sensed the protectiveness of the demon towards its maker. "I presume that you attack only those that threaten your mother." He got an incredulous look from Dan and Nawaki while the oni smirked. "No one will harm my mother again," the oni declares as it raised its hand, gathering what seems to be a malevolent ball of pure darkness. Die. Waves upon waves, these dark projectiles attacked Naruto, who merely raised an eyebrow before the attack impacted on his location, followed by a large explosion that made the ground tremble and causing dusts and debris to fly into the air, diminishing the visibility. The demon sneered at the smoke that hid the dead person that threatened to harm his mother. However, The sneer turned into shock when he saw a large clawed hand in front of a smiling Naruto who partially manifested soft to protect him and the two spirits behind him. I didn't come here to fight, Oni-kun, Naruto said in amusement. Nor did I come here to hurt your mother. Then why did you come here then? Everyone who comes here always try to hurt mother. This is the reason why she made me. The beast bellowed as it raised a protective hand to shield the scared girl on its shoulder from any sudden attack. I merely came here to investigate the rumors I heard from the villagers mentioning a demon in an abandoned cemetery, said Naruto as he materialized Soph, who towered over the gaping Oni easily while the girl on its shoulder looked shocked. As you can see, I can easily destroy you if I wanted to, but I didn't. However, I would like to speak to your mother. Why? The Oni asked in suspicion, glaring at the large guardian without fear despite its overwhelming presence. Because if what I suspect is true, then I would be able to offer her a new home, as well as help teach her about her powers. The Oni studied Naruto before looking at Soph, who was also doing the same to him. Oni couldn't help but grudgingly agree that the boy was powerful and there was no way he could protect himself and his mother at the same time if the fiery guardian attacked. Fine. But if you make a wrong move, I won't hesitate to kill you, the Oni declared in bravado. Naruto merely nodded, though he inwardly scoffed at the idea of such a minor spirit taking him down. It was ludicrous at best. He approached the Oni, ignoring the cries of Nawaki and Dan behind him. He stopped a scant few meters from the large beast before gazing at the girl who was looking down at him in fear. He could sense the negative emotions churning around the girl's heart, and he couldn't help but be angry at what this girl was subjected to. Hello there. Is it all right if we talk a bit? Naruto said with a smile, releasing waves of calming emotions at the girl who visibly relaxed. Who are you? The girl asked in a whisper, though everyone in the silent cemetery heard it easily. My name is Asakura Naruto, a shaman, and I am from Konoha. Naruto introduced himself with a friendly smile on his face. He definitely didn't want to scare this girl since she was the first one with the ability he met, and he would be damned if pushed her away by being forceful in his approach. He really wanted her to come with him to Konoha to be trained. Shaman. Konoha. The girl stuttered out in confusion. Naruto nodded as he sent a mental command to Soph. He stepped back onto the waiting palm before being lifted to the scared girl's level. A shaman is someone who can see and talk to spirits, said Naruto before pointing to himself and to the girl. Both you and I are shamans. To prove that, you can see your guardian spirit and mine. What is a guardian spirit? Asked the girl, her fear melting away as curiosity started pouring out of her in waves. Naruto picked this up and couldn't help but chuckle. A guardian spirit is your protector, a being who will make sure that no harm comes to you, he explained. So, tell me, what is your name? Miyaka. The girl answered with a shy smile on his face, causing the Oni to chuckle. Nice to meet you, Miyaka-chan. I hope you don't mind if you answer some questions. He got a nod from the girl. Thank you. Now, my first question is, why are you living here in the cemetery instead of the town? Miyaka's face turned sad. My parents died a year ago and I was kicked out of our home. I tried living on the streets, but the kids are bullies and they keep hurting me. I started living here when I found the place, since there is a nice house that keeps the cold away, said Miyaki as she pointed to a run-down mausoleum behind her which definitely saw better days. It was a few months later when I moved in that people started coming and kept throwing rocks at me. I was afraid, but Tama came to my rescue one day, though he changed last month from being yellow to red. She added the last part cheerfully. Naruto nodded as he looked at Tama, who was puffing out his chest in pride. The Oni was definitely not the usual mass of negative emotions like the one Anna created during Yo and Hao's lifetime, and it would seem that the girl's desire for a protector manifested a positive emotion within the demon. If her description was correct, then this Oni in front of him was a month old in terms of evolution. Not bad for a first-time oversoul. I see. So I take it that Tama keeps you safe. Miyaka nodded eagerly as he patted Tama's cheek, making the red giant grin like a loon. Yes, Tama keeps the bullies away and some old people who want to take me away from my home. He also goes away for a few hours to come back with a bit of food for me to eat, Miyaka said before her stomach grumbled, making her wince. Kaa-san, I need to go and get you some food. Tama said, but Naruto interrupted him. I have some food here with me, Tama-kun, said Naruto as he pulled out a paper bag from inside his kimono. He opened it before pulling out 3 sticks of dango he bought in town. He gave it to Miyaka, who looked at it hungrily. Here you go. Take your time eating it since I don't have any water on me to wash it down. I don't want you to choke, he warned the girl, who nodded before slowly eating the snacks and chewing it meticulously as if savoring the flavor. Naruto sat on Soft's shoulder as he watched Miyaka eat. His heart ached at the suffering this girl had to go through, but was amazed that she didn't break down. It solidified his decision to bring the girl with him. His morals demanded nothing less. Besides, he already saw her as a little sister to spoil. He inwardly grinned at the thought of having the little 8-year-old run around the Asakura compound with Tama chasing after her with Kurama chasing him. That would be a sight to see, if nothing else. So, Miyaka, as I told you earlier, do you want to come with me to Konoha? I'll take care of you and teach you how to control your powers. Naruto offered since he didn't want to take the girl against her will. I don't want to be a burden, Naruto-ni-san, Miyaka said shyly. Naruto grinned when he heard the girl look at him like a big brother. He definitely liked the sound of it. You will never be a burden, Miyaka-chan, and I definitely don't mind having a little sister running around the house, Naruto said with a large grin on his face. Can I take Tama with us? I don't want to leave him alone, Miyaka asked immediately while hugging Tama's neck. We can take Tama with us since he is your guardian. However, I need to teach you a shaman technique so you can hide him and only call him out when you need to, Naruto mused. Shaman technique? Asked Miyaka in confusion. Yes, Naruto nodded. You see, Tama is a being of pure spirit given solid form. He patted Soft's shoulder. He is the same as my guardian. We are both giving our guardian a solid form using our energy. You are definitely talented since you are doing so subconsciously, and very powerful if you kept it up this long. A thought occurred to him. How long has Tama been around? I'm not sure, he's been with me a week after I made a home here, Miyaka said with a cute frown on his face that almost made Naruto coo. Definitely powerful then, Naruto murmured to himself. He made a mental note to recreate the oracle bell the Patch tribe used to measure Furyoku levels. It would be a great help in teaching new shamans by determining their power levels in advance. Tell you what, finish your food and I'll teach you how to hide Tama. When you get it done, we'll go into town and buy you some decent clothes to wear and some food to eat since I know dango is not really that filling. I would love that, Naruto-ni-san, Miyaka said with a huge smile on her face that warmed Naruto's heart. Naruto spent the whole afternoon with Miyaka getting the girl the necessary supplies for the journey. The first top was some nice clothes for the girl and basic necessities. He also bought some books on general education since he wanted to get the girl started on reading and writing since he found out that the girl didn't attend any classes in the local schools nor did her parents teach her anything. The shopkeepers were quite shocked to see the infamous demon girl of the local cemetery, but they didn't voice it out since the glare Naruto leveled at them ensured that they kept their mouth shut. The spiritual pressure he let out also helped to keep their unwanted opinions to themselves. It was an hour before dinner when the 2 shamans retreated to the Birds of Paradise for a well-deserved rest. Naruto raised an eyebrow when he saw Jiraiya nursing a cup of tea in the lounge, his face a mask of seriousness that didn't belong to the happy-go-lucky sage. Good afternoon, Godfather. How did your talk with Tsunade go? Asked Naruto as he took a seat in front of the Toad Sage, with Miyaka immediately taking a comfortable perch on his lap, which earned a questioning look from the man. Oh, this is Miyaka. She is like me, he said as a way to explain things without giving out any information since there were civilians around. I see, said Jiraiya as he studied the happy girl on his Gosun's lap. Is this the girl reputed to reside in the cemetery? Naruto looked at his godfather in surprise. Why yes, she is. How did you know? He asked in curiosity, making Jiraiya shrug. I am a spy master, Gaki. There are a few things hidden from me in the elemental nations. I knew you would pick up on the rumors being circulated by the merchants around, and I know that it is within your field of expertise to sense such things, so I kept my mouth shut. Naruto nodded. It shouldn't have surprised him if his godfather picked up on such rumors. Jiraiya was reputed to have the best spy network in the elemental nations thanks to his cunning and access to the toads. Well, the problem is solved now. Miyako here will accompany me for the rest of the journey while I teach her the basic techniques to get her powers under control. Naruto said with a shrug while eyeing Miyako, who was playing with a silver bracelet on her wrist, her medium to call on Tama. Naruto couldn't help but be amazed and proud of the girl. In just 1 hour, Miyako learned the spell to house Tama inside the silver bracelet he procured in Fire Country. It wasn't a good medium, but it would do for now until he could get back to Konoha where his supplies were. She would be teaching her how to control her Furyoku levels and the technique to oversoul Tama just in case the demon guardian was needed. Considering that they were traveling and the bounty on his head, it was a good idea for the girl to have the means to bring out her GS just in case. How about the demon that is associated with her? Jiraiya asked curiously. I took care of it. Her guardian spirit is now housed inside the bracelet. She was a quick study, able to grasp the basic technique to place her friend inside the accessory. I'll teach her to control her powers tomorrow so she can bring it out just in case. Naruto told his godfather, who nodded in agreement. So, when is Tsunade coming? Not sure. I offered it to her, so it's her decision. Jiraiya said with a sigh. Naruto nodded before nudging at Miyako to stand up and did so before standing up himself. I'm going up to my room so Miyako can freshen up and rest. Naruto told the Toad Sage. I will come down in an hour for dinner. Please tell Kakashi and Team 9 about it. We can eat together while waiting for Tsunade. Are we going to stay here until she makes up her mind? Might as well. The Sandaime did order me to bring her back, so we'll see. Naruto nodded before leaving the depressed man alone to his thoughts. Naruto was currently writing on a blank scroll, penning a training regimen for Miyako, when he heard a knock. He looked up from his task to realize that someone was knocking on his door. He frowned before pulling out a leaf and made a shikigami and had it answer. Tsunade took a deep breath before knocking on the door in front of her. She arrived at the hotel last night and found Jiraiya at the lounge. She decided to take the man's offer to have the shaman summon the spirit of Dan and Nawaki so she could find closure. Jiraiya directed her to the shaman's room but opted to bow out of the experience since he wanted Tsunade to have a private time with her departed loved ones. This shocked Tsunade since he knew Jiraiya to be a nosy pervert and giving her privacy was practically one thing he would never do. This made Tsunade revise her thinking of the Toad Sage. She was about to knock again when the door opened to reveal a floating, leaf thing. It was an odd thing. It had a transparent face, hands and legs, a leaf surrounded by an energy construct of sorts that she found familiar but couldn't identify. She was shocked at seeing Naruto's shikigami but was more shocked when he saw the two people inside the room. On the coffee table was a young boy wearing a light blue formal kimono. The man wasn't wearing a Hittite, so he wasn't a shinobi, but the essence of power coming off the boy was astounding. The girl, and what she was doing, was a different matter entirely. The black-haired girl wearing a kimono similar to the boy though in pink was currently giggling as dozens of those things that opened the door for her flew around, playing a complicated game of poke and dodge. Senju Tsunade, I presume, the boy spoke as he placed the brush aside and rolled up the scroll he was writing on. He tucked the scroll into his sleeve before standing up. Yes, Tsunade answered curtly. You're Uzumaki Naruto, I take it. I was Uzumaki Naruto, but I changed my name to Asakura Naruto when I awakened as a shaman. Naruto answered with a smile before waving a hand over to a giggling Miyako. I hope you don't mind if I don't stop my student from her practice. She needs this to control her growing powers. What are they? Tsunade asked Naruto as she studied the floating things flying around the girl. Those are called shikagemas. Miyako is using the leaves as medium and injects nature spirits into them to do her bidding. Playful little buggers and a great training exercise for new shamans to control their powers. Naruto said with some amusement. So, Tsunade-san, I guess you're here because you accepted Jiraiya's offer. I am. I know this is too good to be true, but I'm willing to give it a shot, said Tsunade before cracking her knuckles as a cold look appeared in her eyes. But if the old toad is pulling my leg, then I'll do more than punt him to Suna for this stunt. I assure you, Tsunade-san, Jiraiya is not lying to you. Naruto assured the woman as he took out Dan and Nawaki's tablets. I take it that you are familiar with your lover and brother's chakra signature. Tsunade nodded as her eyes were glued to the tablets the boy was holding. She extended her senses and was shocked when she felt faint traces of Dan and Nawaki's chakra signature on them. How? She stuttered out as her eyes took on a hopeful look. Easy. Both the living and the dead share the same signature, though the latter is more muted, but it's still there. Naruto answered as he made the two items float in front of him. I am going to inject some of my powers into the two spirits to give them corporeal form. I will inject enough to give them 24 hours of temporary life. Nothing more and nothing less, since I don't want to break the rules of the afterlife by letting them live longer. You mean you can bring people back from the dead? Asked Tsunade in shock. She was a medic nin and such a technique was a medic's dream come true. I can, but I won't. There are rules, Tsunade-san, and I have no intentions of breaking them unless it's an emergency, and I'm not telling you what the rule is since you're not a shaman. Said Naruto in seriousness before addressing Miyaka. You can stop with the exercise for now, Miyaka-chan, and wait for me downstairs. Hi, Naruto-ni-san. Miyaka quipped before closing her eyes, her cute nose scrunched up in concentration. The Shikigami stopped in mid-air before the spiritual shell surrounding them disappeared, causing the leaves to fall on the bed. She opened her eyes and smiled before picking up the leaves and putting them inside her kimono. She jumped off the bed and gave Naruto a brief kiss on the cheek before sprinting out of the room at top speed. Miyaka is quite happy today, Naruto said in amusement before turning towards Tsunade. Ready. Ready as I'll ever be. Naruto raised his hand, his palms behind the floating tablets as he channeled his Furyoku. This technique was used once by How to give his friend, Matamoon, a corporeal form, and Naruto was going to repeat the feat to give Dan and Nawaki a visible and solid body for a limited period of time. Chusenji Ryukitsu, Soul Injection. Ever so slowly, the forms of Dan and Nawaki manifested in front of a shocked Tsunade before they completely solidified when Naruto's technique completed its task. The two looked at Tsunade with happiness while the legendary medic was leaking tears from her eyes as her mouth opened. Dan, Nawaki, she breathed out before jumping at the two and hugging the life out of them. Naruto smiled at the scene before making his way to the door to give the three their privacy, but not before leaving a parting statement. Tsunade-san, please don't hurt them in any way with your strength. They might be alive, but their body is sustained by my energy. Your punch would practically destroy their forms if you get ahead of yourself. Said Naruto with a chuckle, leaving a blushing Tsunade, a chuckling Dan, and a laughing Nawaki behind. End of chapter 10.